What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. I am back from vacation and I am feeling rested and recovered and ready to get into some serious work. We have some really exciting stuff launching with Glow Body Fit coming in September, and finally the protein shipment that I've been waiting for 4 months is arriving. So people will get their protein now, and glowbodynutrition.ca or glowbody.ca, excuse me, will be fully restocked. So I am feeling really excited about this next month to come. Everything is starting to come together and it's going to be great. But now that I am back back on track, of course, with my training and my nutrition, and I am really excited about today's topic for our video. We are diving deep into nutrition today, and we are going to talk about what diet you should be following for your health and fitness goals. It's back to school time. We're getting back into your routine, back into your schedule, and people are starting to think again about how to get back on track with your nutrition. This video today is going to help give you a framework of how you should start planning your diet and your new meal routine for back to school. So, without further ado, we will get into it. But before we do, make sure you give the video a like. You subscribe to my channel if you are brand new, or if you aren't new and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Go click that button, and we are going to get into this. So getting your diet in order is the first step to success in any goal that you have, whether it be weight loss, weight gain, overall health, improving your sleep, improving your body composition, whatever it is health-wise. Your diet is the key foundation of making your goal a success. If you're not hitting enough protein, if you're eating too many carbs, you're eating too much sugar, too much processed foods, not enough vegetables, not enough calories, all that kind of stuff can cause major disturbances in your body's hormones, the way your body functions, the way it responds to exercise, the way it responds to rest. If you're taking a rest day off the gym and you don't eat enough protein, your body doesn't have enough of the macronutrients and the ingredients to build muscle and repair your muscles. So your nutrition is the foundation to being successful in any goal. So getting on track is, of course, very important with nutrition over, I think, anything else. So here are the 3 ways that you can start getting on track with your nutrition today. So the first way is to get your protein in order. So if you are not eating enough protein, first of all, you probably haven't watched any of my videos then. You probably don't drink my protein powder. And you don't follow me on Instagram, because I am preaching protein all day long, because it seriously, you guys, is I think it is the most important macronutrient out there. So on average, the minimum effective dose of protein is 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. If you are a heavier person, your doctor has told you you're obese or you're overweight, then you should be going over, you should be hitting your protein goal based on your lean body mass, not your overall body mass, just because then your protein numbers will get quite high, and there's a bunch of other stuff with that. So 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight is the minimum amount of protein you should be eating a day. So if you are weighing 130 pounds, you should be aiming for 130 grams of protein a day, which for 3 meals a day, you divide that by 3. That's way too much math for me to do in my head. Divide that over 3 meals a day, and boom, boom, boom. It's super easy to hit your protein goal, you guys. Honestly, I go over my protein every day. Yes, I own a supplement company. So fair, I drink a lot of protein powder, but it's really not that hard if you're prepared and you're mindful about it. So first thing to get your diet in order, protein. Start eating protein. Tip number 2 is to get your calories in line. And I don't mean restricting food. I don't mean overeating crazy amounts of food. I mean follow a consistent calorie mark or consistent amount of food every single day. So if you're a chronic undereater, then you are keeping yourself accountable by eating enough calories, which is something that I need to do. I track my food because if it wasn't for MyFitnessPal, I would actually restrict my food. So it helps me eat enough. And every single day I need to hit that number and make sure I'm eating enough so I'm fueling my body. On the other end of the spectrum, if you are a chronic grazer, overeater, you don't portion your food out well enough, then having a specific amount of food to eat every single day to know you're fueling your body enough but not too much is very important. And this can be done through tracking on MyFitnessPal. You can use the hand portion method, or you can just eyeball it. And the third way to get back on track with your nutrition is to figure out how many carbs and how many fats you're eating a day. What sort of balance are you gonna have between these two macronutrients? Everybody is always scared of carbs, doesn't wanna eat carbs, and wants to go low carb. But in reality, you just need to figure out what works for your body. Carbs and fat are both used for energy, and some people's body will metabolize carbs better, some people's bodies will metabolize fat better. Men generally can handle a lower carb diet better than women can, and women generally can handle more carbs during certain parts of their cycle. So it really depends on what works for you and also the foods you like. If you find yourself gravitating towards fattier foods more often, you'd probably thrive more on a high-fat diet. Whereas if you find yourself gravitating towards more carb-heavy foods, leaner cuts of meat, you don't really crave fatty foods often, your body probably does better on carbs. We need both of them, but there's different kind of balances of both, which we are going to touch on later in this video. So going back to the carbs and fat ratio, this is probably the most difficult part of nutrition. You know, protein is easy. You eat your body weight in protein. How much should you be eating? You know, it can be a little bit difficult, but you know, it's also pretty straightforward. You eat till you're almost full, till you're satiated, you move on, have your next meal, blah, blah, blah. When it comes to the balance of carbs and fat, this is where I find most people get super, super confused, and they end up just throwing in the towel and just being like, screw it, I'm going keto. And I don't think anybody should ever do that. But this is where the biggest problem comes, and I see with my clients when it comes to nutrition. So today we are going to be diving deep on what diet you should be following and showing you real tangible examples of how you can decide, are you a carb person, are you a fat person, or are you more of a balanced person and you want a little bit of both in your diet. At the end of the day, we do need both. So you need at least 20% of your calories coming from fat in order for your body to be functioning properly, like your hormones, your nerve signals, all that kind of stuff. And then you do need a little bit of carbs, especially if you're an active person. So we're gonna break down 3 different meal structures and 3 different diet structures for you to help you decide which one is gonna fit best for you and your lifestyle. All right, here we are. So diet option number 1, this is the one I recommend most people should start following because it's a really great baseline. It's the most sustainable and it gives you the most variety of food. So this is the balanced macro meal plan option. So in the balanced macro meal plan option, you will be getting even amounts of energy from carbs and from fat. You aren't favoring one or the other, and your protein, of course, will stay consistent with that 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you see on this plate here, you can see that you've got your 2 pounds of protein. That of course will vary from person to person based on what your protein needs are. You will have the 2 cupped handfuls of carbs and then 2 thumbs of fat. Make a protein shake out of it. This would be protein powder with some fruit. So here we've got bananas and blueberries. I'd probably do a whole banana, half a cup of blueberries, and then 1 to 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. So that would be a meal option for a balanced macro meal plan. So again, like I said, this is something that I would suggest starting off with if you are just looking into cleaning up your eating habits. So if you have trouble eating quality food, and you find yourself eating a lot of packaged foods or eating out a lot, this is a really great option to start with, to just focus on eating whole foods, but then also optimizing how much of them you are eating. All right, the next option here is the high carb, low fat diet plan. So this is really, really great for athletes, people who are super active. If you regularly exercise 6 times a week, you're doing high intensity exercise like boxing, spin classes, weightlifting, boot camp style classes. If you're doing anything like that regularly, and by regularly it's about 5 times a week, I would say, a higher carb approach is definitely best for you. Also, if your job requires you to move around more, again, this is a meal plan that would be more conducive to your lifestyle because you are giving your body more opportunities to use that glucose. So if you were to look at this on a plate, it would look something like this. We would have 3 cupped handfuls of carbs, your usual protein intake, and then 1 thumb of fat. With a diet approach like this, you would be a little more restricted to leaner cuts of meat. So, you know, things like chicken breast or lean steaks or lean ground turkey, lean ground chicken, shrimp, whitefish, egg whites. There'd be a little bit less wiggle room for higher fat meats because shockingly, those higher fat meats actually do contain quite a bit more calories and the fat can really add up quick. Another thing is that if you already find yourself having trouble with portion sizes in terms of eating too much, and carbs are something that you find really hard to moderate, this diet approach might not be best for you because you will be eating a lot more carbs, but you might have the tendency to overeat on them still because you are giving your body those carbohydrates in the first place. So it's kind of like how you have one chip. You can't just have one, you have to have more. Another kind of problem with this diet approach if those are some problems for you. And the last one we have here is low carb, high fat. So this necessarily wouldn't be keto. Of course, keto would fall into this category, but this would be just, you know, your carbs would probably take up about 10% of your overall intake, and then fats and protein would be majority of what you're eating. Your carbs would come from lighter sources such as vegetables, low sugar berries like blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, and if you are going to have something more starchy, it would be coming from things like butternut squash or turnips or parsnips. There wouldn't be a ton of rice or potatoes or bananas or any sort of sugary things like honey or maple syrup would not be included in this diet plan. 10% of your calories coming from carbs is quite a small amount. So for some people that could only be 100 grams of carbs, 150 grams of carbs, and that's a pretty easy number to hit when you are eating higher carb foods. So this diet plan here, if you look on our plate, it would be comprised mostly of veggies, which would be where you would be getting your carbs from. There's 4 thumbs of fat, so that would come from things like butter or avocados or olive oil, and then you have your 2 palms of protein. Now, with the protein sources here, you are open to a little bit of a wider variety of proteins, so you could incorporate things like the pork ribs or a fattier steak, or incorporate more salmon and more lamb and more ground beef and things that, meat products that have more fat in them that'll help you reach your fat without dousing your food in olive oil and butter. Unless that's what you like to do, then by all means, that is totally fine. I don't suggest most people follow this just because it can be quite restrictive. It doesn't allow you to have a ton of balance in your life. It's really difficult sometimes to eat out like this and actually feel satisfied. So this is not an approach that I generally tell my clients to do. And if you are an active person, you're working out, you will notice decreases in your performance if you're not having enough carbs. So this would be, however, a good plan if you have a desk job, you're not super active, you don't participate in a ton of high intensity activity. So if you're someone who does more like Pilates, yoga, walking, bar, or you do like lighter sessions in the gym, this approach could be good for you. Again, like I said, if you are one of the things I've mentioned above, you sit a lot, you're very sedentary, you don't exercise a ton, this would be probably the program I would put you on, because you aren't giving your body a lot of opportunity to use up glucose. And if you're eating it, you're not using it, it will be stored and eventually turn into body fat. So All in all, you can succeed on any diet you go on, whether it's vegan, it's keto, it's low carb, it's high carb, it's moderate carbs and fat, whatever it is, the diet that you can stick to is the best diet for you. So, if I personally do well on a higher carb diet and that's what I find really sustainable, it works for my lifestyle, I'm very active, it's very, very balanced for me. I used to be low carb and I hated my life. It was horrible. This might not work for you though. Maybe you're somebody who really enjoys fatty cuts of meat and you like charcuterie boards, you like to go on walks, you don't like to go to, spin classes and boxing classes, and you prefer moderate intensity, lower intensity activity, then maybe the lower carb diet will work for you and your body will be able to metabolize that better. So whatever the diet is that works best for your body is the best one. Out of all of it, the most important thing to focus on is your food quality, and we have talked about this in previous videos. I will link the other video up here about foods that you shouldn't be eating that are ruining your fat loss and fitness goals. So the diet that works for you is what matters. These are just frameworks for you to work off of to start getting back on track now that we are back to routine and back to school. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions and you want to dive deeper into your nutrition, hit me up for coaching. There is a link for the application below. I am accepting new clients for the fall. I do currently have a wait list, so make sure you get on that wait list as soon as possible. You submit that application below and I will contact you with everything that you need to know. All my coaching is virtual, so I can coach you no matter where you are in the world. And we will dive deep in nutrition and really, really get to the bottom of your health and fitness goals, and finally you can stop buying programs that don't work and we will find you something that is sustainable and works with and for you. So on that note, give the video a like if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Put your arms around me, put your faith in me, put your